YouTube, welcome back to another video. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Y'all, I've been posting pretty consistently. Yeah. Hey, man, watch that. Now that I said something, it's gonna, I'm not even gonna speak that, because, like, I'm not gonna try to fall off. I'm not gonna fall off. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna fall off. But y'all, welcome new subscribers, new people, and hey, I know you watching. Y'all, I've been trying to post every single day. Every single day. There's not a day I'm gonna try to miss. Cause you just don't know what video could really change my life. You feel me? Plus, I'm building a community, a family over here. You feel me? I don't hey, some people don't think 100 is a big subscriber count. Nick, I'm not even cool with 100 people. I don't even like 100 people. So it's just the fact that 100 people like me enough to watch me is insane. It's insane. But y'all, man, we come with 3 scary true hotel horror stories, y'all. I'm not gonna talk ahead of, not in the beginning of the video, because I know I always do that. But y'all, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Let's go. What the hell? This is one of those, okay.
Hotels have always creeped me out, even before I had an issue with one of the staff members. I used to be grossed out by all the possible germs that could be in the rooms, especially on the bed. But eventually, things...
Like, I never thought about it, y'all. But one time, I went to a hotel, bruh, and them sheets had blood on it. I'm not even gonna contemplate what was going on in that hotel. I don't even want to know. But we had to change rooms, blah blah blah. Bro, that was a cold night, bro. It was a cold night, bro. I'm telling y'all, man. Hey, I don't even like hotel. Like, he reminded me.
Things got much worse for me. When I was 22 years old, I wanted to visit Nashville, Tennessee because I had an obsession with a lot of the musicians that made it famous out of there.
Did they go to the hotel I went to, bro? The hotel I went to had 40 floors. I'm not gonna talk ahead of, but that shit was crazy. That's the tallest hotel I've ever been in. I'm like, I think it was 40. It was a lot of floors, and everybody like ants.
The entire city is full of musical history. It just sucks I wasn't able to enjoy any of that. After finally saving up enough money to spend an entire week out there, I only ended up spending a single evening. I took a plane from Oregon to Nashville, and by the time I landed, it was already 6 p.m. and I was beat. So I planned to just check into my hotel and get a good night's sleep.
Sure.
Then the following day, I was going to meet up with an old family friend that lived just an hour away from the city. She was going to meet me at a restaurant for breakfast, and then we were going to check out the city. It was going to be awesome, so I couldn't have been more excited to get to my hotel and get some sleep. I took an Uber to my hotel, and when I got there, I thought it was really nice. I'd never stayed in a hotel by myself before, so I was happy it didn't look shady. But, as they say, you can never judge a book by its cover.
No bad.
I went inside and walked up to the check-in desk, and behind the counter was a man who looked like he was a few years older than me. I got his attention, and when he looked up at me,
Bro, like, who's you looking at like that, bro? Like, nobody's scared of you. Like, bro, I would really smack the fuck out you, boy. Stop playing me with, boy. Like, boy, that boy crazy. Like, y'all, don't ever let nobody intimidate you like this. Like, boy, who's you looking at? I'm not the one. Stop it.
it was like he forgot what he was supposed to be doing. He just stared at me without saying a word. After a second of standing there awkwardly, I introduced myself and informed him that I booked a room and was trying to check in. It was like he snapped out of a trance after I began speaking to him. He looked right down at his computer and typed in a few things before pulling out a keycard and activating it. He slid it across the counter to me and said, "Enjoy your stay, ma'am." I thought it was weird that he didn't ask me for my ID, but I figured they mustn't have been busy, or that he simply wasn't concerned about doing his job properly. So I took the key and began making my way up to my room. But as I walked over to the elevator, I couldn't help but feel like someone was staring at me. I didn't turn to see who it was, but something in the back of my head said that it was that man at the front desk. I made it to my room, and by that time, I had shaken off the strange feeling that I had gotten from him. So I was just happy to see that my room looked clean and relatively nice for what I had spent on it. I locked the door behind me and began getting settled. And after a microwave meal and about an hour of watching TV, I was too tired to stay awake any longer and ended up falling asleep around 8:30. I'm not exactly sure how long.
No cap. That's usually when I fall asleep. 9, 10. I got an old soul. I have an old. Unless I'm trying to really grind. Like if I'm trying to really grind, learn something, trying to get some videos out for y'all, trying to figure out this whole YouTube, everything else. Like I'll stay up past then, but 10 is my limit. Like I only watch like probably like an hour of TV, and I cut that up. I just go to sleep now.
Long I was asleep, but I remember waking up thinking that I heard the sound of something clicking, but I figured it was nothing, so I just rolled over without checking and tried to get back to sleep.
That's wild.
But as I was laying on my side,
nigga, that shit scared the actual fuck out of me, boy. What the hell is this fucking? What is this? Oh my god. Jesus, nigga, look at the cut. Look at it.
so I just rolled over without checking and tried to get back to sleep. But as I was laying on my side facing the window in my room, I couldn't help but feel like I was being watched again. I opened my eye, and through the reflection in the window being created by the glare from the TV, I could see that there was someone standing in my room behind me.
Oh! Bro, why is this video actually kind of scaring me, boy? Nigga, bro, I think the only reason why this is scaring me because I had the same, but not a real person. I was going through sleep paralysis. Ugh! Oh my god, what is this music?
I couldn't help but scream as I practically jumped out of the bed. That was when I got a good look at who it was. The man from the check-in desk had used his key to get into my room. As I continued to scream and call for help, the man thankfully didn't try to stop me. Instead, he turned and made a run for the door.
Hey, what was your purpose? I ain't saying he was meant to do anything, but what was your purpose of just watching me? Like what is you doing? What happens in people's minds to do this? Like I've always said this. Where does the disconnect happen? And like, are people just destined to be mentally? Like, I don't get it.
And as the door closed behind him, I heard the same clicking noise that had woken me up. It was the sound of the door lock engaging and disengaging from when he snuck in. I called the police and the manager of the hotel, and thankfully they managed to keep the worker in the hotel while the police arrived. The man was arrested, and I assumed fired. But as for myself, I couldn't spend another second in that hotel, and ended up using the money that I had saved to buy a plane ticket and decided to end my trip that night.
Wait, why you didn't link up with the old family friend? I would have just slept with. What do I know? Story number 2, y'all.
Back when I used to work in the hospitality business, one of the best jobs I ever had was being a housekeeper at a hotel in my city. And I know that might sound a little odd, but it was a really easy job for the most part. For the most part, my worst case scenario was a trashed room, but they gave us gloves, so it really wasn't too bad. There was one instance though that was well out of my job description that I most likely never be able to forget. It was during my last year working at the hotel.
I see the coordination, y'all. Look at this is how y'all really clean. Cause I'm gonna rewind it, cause some of y'all really don't clean like this. Like, look at the coordination, y'all can never do this.
Never be able to forget.
Look at the right foot. Look.
It was during my last year working at the hotel.
This one come up.
I was going about my usual job.
Yeah.
Included walking from room to room with my cart and making sure that everything was ready for the new guest to arrive. An empty room got checked, and any room that needed cleaning got taken care of. And in no time at all, I was on my first 15-minute break of the shift as I made my way down to the manager's desk to let her know that I was taking my break. I remember walking past a room that was particularly loud, and I remember thinking to myself that
hey, you know what they do in that room? Yeah, you know, man, we know what's going on. But, bro, I hate floors like this. Like, is that like a little ramp? And just look at this. Like, I already know demons. Like, I'm not even finna, like, y'all, Tell me if y'all walk into a hotel and it look like this, you staying? I'm not. This look like a horror movie, man. Ain't no way.
It
Ain't no
wouldn't
way.
be long before security got to tell them to keep things quiet. But after that, I forgot about that room entirely and proceeded to go on my break. I spoke to my manager, and she just sort of brushed it off and told me to go on my break, and then got back to what she was doing. She looked particularly busy, so I decided not to bother her any more than I needed to. I grabbed my coat and stepped outside for a cigarette. By the time I came back in, my manager had calmed down a bit, and I asked her what was going on, thinking that we might have a busy night on our hands. But it wasn't anything like that. Ben, the night shift guard, had called out, and she was looking for someone to cover for him. I told her to try to call Michael, and that he would probably be available, and then I went back to my shift. However, less than an hour after I got back to work, I got a call on my radio asking me if I would do my manager a huge favor.
Nope.
Apparently, she had gotten a hold of Michael.
Am I getting manager pay? If not, no. No. No sirree. No sirree.
And he was going to come in, but he wouldn't have been to the hotel for another 15 minutes or so, and she needed someone to tell a few guests to quiet down. Right away, I knew the room that she was talking about, and thinking nothing of it, I accepted the job. It didn't seem like a big deal to me. I double-checked the room number that I had to go to and began making my way there. As soon as I started getting close, I could hear the same sort of rowdy yelling that I heard earlier in my shift, and I proceeded to knock on the door. Silence fell over the room as I announced myself and said that we had a noise complaint. When I heard the door beginning to open, I expected an irate guest at most, but what I ended up seeing was much worse. A grown man swung the door
A
open.
black man? Jesus. It can't get worse than this. Head ass.
And he was clearly intoxicated. He opened the door wider than he planned to and quickly corrected it by closing the door until I could just barely see his face. But it was too late. Inside the room, I could see that he was in there with another man and two young girls that looked like they might have been my sister's age. She was 12 at the time. The man...
What's going on? Hey, nah, that might just be his children. We see, look, we just overthinking. Chill, man. It's just his kids.
tried to act calm, and he asked me what I was there for, and I replied by letting him know that we had gotten a noise complaint. And I'm not sure why I did it, but something in my head told me to ask him what they were doing there tonight. He and his friend didn't like that, though. Instead of getting a response from the man who answered the door, he opened it more and then pulled me into the room. I didn't have...
Hey, this is where everything I have taught y'all come in. So you do your little roundhouse kick. You hit bro who pulled you in. Boom. The other dude is he shocked because he didn't see it coming. Why he's like, you come in with the punch like so. Look, y'all, this is how it's gonna look. It's gonna be like a boom, kick him, turn around, boom. You feel me? Like, you gotta be quick though. So y'all do it with me. Just boom. He like, what the? Telling you, y'all, it's working every time. But I've been in a couple situations, so I had to do a roundhouse kick every time. It never fails.
time to
Never.
react. Before I knew it, I was on the floor looking up at the two men
See,
who...
never mind, y'all. If you fall on the floor, alright, so I gotta give y'all a situation. You fall on the floor. You fall on the floor, nah, you're done. I ain't gonna lie. Because you got no time. You got no time because when you try to... Unless you can do one of those little bounce up, they're like, whoa. Telling you every time. I'm getting y'all right. I'm telling you. I don't know what... I forgot what it's called. We're gonna call it, the Brandon. So you just bounce up. Boom. I'm telling y'all.
who were now attacking me. I couldn't make out much of what was being said as I covered my head with my arms to shield it from any major blows. Thankfully, the attack came to an end shortly after it started when Michael showed up. He ended up getting to the hotel sooner than expected, and our manager asked him to come and check out the noise complaint. Unlike myself, Michael was an ex-police officer and was certified to carry a firearm. So once he showed up, he was able to apprehend both of the men until the cops arrived.
Fire.
Both men ended up being arrested for apparently grooming the 2 children on MySpace and luring them out to the hotel.
What?
Both of the girls were fairly intoxicated by the time we had gotten there. Who knows what would have happened had we not gotten that noise complaint and Michael hadn't shown up.
Bruh, what in... Yeah, like this just disturbs me. Like, what is going on, bro? Like, what? Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Like, it just at the end of the day, it just made me mad. Cause like, why? Like, what is you doing? You don't feel nasty? You little nasty boy? Like, hey man, like I said, the world is cold, so get a jacket. Get a thick puffer jacket. I'm telling you.
Vacations are supposed to be peaceful and relaxing, but as you know by now, things don't always go as planned. I remember it like it just happened last weekend, even though it was more than 4 years ago. I was on vacation with my girlfriend at the time, Linda, and we were having some fun in Atlantic City. And what was supposed to be the best part was the fact that we managed to get a hotel right on the boardwalk. However, when we got there, we saw that the place was packed. I went up to the front desk and signed in, and after about 20 minutes of waiting, the woman at the desk finally gave us our room keys. Our room had a view of the water and was on the 5th floor of the hotel, and when we first got there, it was everything that we hoped it would be. That was until we noticed that there was a door that we couldn't open, and then were told by a worker that it was actually a door to the adjoining room. And at first, it honestly wasn't that big of a deal. As far as we knew, there was no one occupying the room next to ours, so we shouldn't have had any issues.
Shit, I would have asked. Don't assume nothing. On me, I learned that the hard way. Do not assume anything. Always ask.
With annoying neighbors. Sadly, things were much more traumatizing than that. The first afternoon that we were in Atlantic City was a lot of fun, and the food that we tried out was delicious. But when we got back to our hotel room, we noticed that things had been slightly moved around, and we wondered what it could have been. I called down to the front desk and asked them if anyone had been in our room because I don't mind room service, but I didn't like the fact that our bags had been opened up and seemed to have been searched through. The person at the front desk assured us that none of the staff had been in our room, and I immediately grew concerned. However, no more than 5 minutes after speaking to the worker at the front desk, my girlfriend heard what sounded like...
Some niggas was trying to do a drip check on me. He was trying to make sure y'all shit was fire. On me. Trying to make sure you got some Dior. Nah, no cap, bro. This is a great time to really preach. Look, just because it's expensive, don't mean it's a hard fit. I promise you. You can have the most expensive fit on, and a person that went to the thrift store and put it on better than you. I promise you. Like, just because it's expensive don't mean that you know how to dress. I promise you.
Police officers walking around the floor of the hotel. She ran to the door and called them over to us to explain that someone might have been in our hotel room and possibly even stolen something from us. That was when they let us know that they were actually there looking for someone who had been breaking into the rooms all along the boardwalk. Apparently, someone saw them checking out all the doors on this floor and called the police. This information made us uncomfortable, but after the police did a walkthrough of our room and assured us that we were safe, we both managed to calm down and just hope that the officers found them sooner rather than later. A couple of hours went by, and eventually Linda and I both began to get tired. The two of us decided to call it a night and get ready for the next day. But when we turned off the lights in the room, followed by the TV, we both heard something that we thought was weird. It sounded like someone was walking around in the room next to ours. And that was when I remembered that there was a room attached to ours. I looked over to the door that connected the two rooms, and even though it was still shut, I noticed that there was a small...
I ain't gonna lie, this music making me sleepy. I mean, I low-key fell asleep for a quick second. I'm not even gonna lie, I was like... It's just the music, bro. I'm trying to wake up.
Rug in front of the door that looked like it was slightly bunched up. I looked over to Linda and whispered that we need to be quiet and that I think that someone was in the room next to ours, which again would have been normal, except for the fact that we were told the room next to ours would be vacant. We both stayed as quiet as we could and continued to listen to see if we were just freaking ourselves out or not. But when we heard the sound of the bathroom sink running in the room next door, the two of us practically screamed. I whispered to Linda to call the police on her cell phone as quietly as she could, and I began focusing on the door to the room next door to ours. It took about 40 minutes for the police to arrive.
What is this hallway? What is this? That's the entrance of hell. That's the little lobby. That's the lobby. Because there's no way this is a real place. There's no way. Who took this picture? Who? No way.
But when they finally did, they knocked on the door next to ours and announced themselves. Linda and I thought it was all said and done, but quickly realized we were wrong. When the door that connected our room to the room next to ours flew open, a disheveled-looking man came running through, which caused us both to freak out. We could see that he was in panic, and he looked around frantically. Thankfully, the police ended up hearing us screaming and came rushing into our room to help. They arrested the man and searched the room next door to ours for any of the stolen items, as well as a key card from the front desk that they believe he used to break into the rooms around the hotel. The only silver lining of an otherwise terrifying situation was that the hotel ended up comping our room and upgrading us to a suite on a higher floor for the rest of our stay.
Nigga, I'ma just die. I don't want no damn suite. Anyway, y'all, that video has made me extremely sleepy. So, y'all, I'm finna go take a nap. Y'all, if y'all enjoyed that video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see y'all in this video. We out. Ugh.